Thank you, Brian, for coming to us and kindly give us your introduce us to us.
Yeah,
Introduce us to
my
us.
name's Brian Tomlinson, and I'm with a small organization in Canada called Aid Watch Canada, which looks at both Canadian and global issues in development cooperation. So I've been working in this area for close to 50 years, and more recently, though, I've been the editor of the Global Reality of Aid report. I've been working on development cooperation issues at the OECD DAC in the last few years. And in more recent times, I've actually spent a fair bit of time looking at climate finance and how it might relate to some of the issues that we've been concerned about in development cooperation, such as poverty and inequality.
Thank you. So, what was the take home for from this conference?
Well, it was a privilege and an honor for me to sit in this meeting. It's an African meeting, which, I'm not African, obviously. And so to be able to understand and hear the debates among African colleagues, around civil society colleagues, around the issues, the broad issues of development finance, I think was very important for me in that it helps shape my own perspectives on the future of development cooperation, how we can look at this venture in terms of solidarity, because I think that's, and from my own perspective, that's the way that we as northern colleagues should be trying to understand our role in supporting the various perspectives that come from meetings such as this on development finance.
Absolutely. From the recommendations of the conferences, we are looking at now interventions and probably implementations.
Yeah.
So, most probably with your experience with the external funding bodies,
Yeah.
what would you recommend for Africans to take up?
Well, I think it's very important to, as Major has ended the conference, to have a coherent political message coming from civil society in Africa. It's also, I think, important to understand the technical aspects of these issues, because that's kind of more my own experience, although I have been involved in political discussions of these for decades. But, coming from that, I guess there's a couple of points that I would draw attention to. One is that, quite properly, you're looking at a comprehensive development finance agenda that includes issues of trade, of foreign direct investment, of ODA, of domestic resource mobilization. And, those are critical areas for Africa's development in various manifestations in African countries. But as they manifest themselves on an international agenda, they go to different places. So, for example, issues around debt and those types of issues are ones that civil society need to address to the World Bank and the IMF and those fora, whereas issues around ODA are more appropriate to address at the OECD Development Assistance Committee in Paris, because that's where the donors, the bilateral donors, gather to set good practice. So that's one message, that yes, you need a comprehensive agenda, but you can't bring a comprehensive agenda into every fora. So perhaps the next stage is to look at where the advocacy opportunities will be to push that agenda. And, as you've done in the past, and as we've tried to do, to form kind of global alliances, not only with Africa, but Asia, Latin America, but also with civil society in the global north, and to kind of understand what we share as a common agenda. There may be differences. I mean, I didn't agree with everything that was said in the meeting, but that's fine. But we need to find areas that we share, so that when we're speaking in the global stage, we're speaking as one voice.
Thank you very much, Brian.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for